What's going on, everybody? We're gonna go over some hot stocks today, and GameStop is definitely one of them. AMC, Beyond Meat, and we're gonna go over some SPY. So starting off with GameStop's 15-minute chart, we could see that starting from yesterday's close, we was at about $17, and we woke up at market open at about $26, right? And within a half hour, we got up to about $37, $38. So that is double the price that it was just the day before. And the reason, or the so-called reason of why this kicked off, was because of an influencer called Roaring Kitty, who put out a picture, and it just caused everybody to go nuts and buy GameStop. So there's a whole Netflix movie called Dumb Money about him and the whole GameStop situation last time. So yeah, this one is taking off. So what are we seeing on this? We could take a look at the daily chart, and we could see back in 2021 is what everyone is thinking about, right? This is what we're thinking we could possibly see, right? We went up from about $5 all the way up to 120, and this took about 2, 3, 4, maybe about a month, maybe less, maybe more, but it eventually came down in about just maybe half, quicker than it went up. So it came all the way down, went all the way back up to about 90, let's say about 87, came all the way back down to, let's see, all the way back down to about $9, right? So that's a crazy swing. You can see that GameStop, if you position yourself properly, you could have some crazy good gains, right? But obviously, it takes a little bit of skills, right? And that's why we are all here, right? We want to make sure that we get a little bit of this action and we're not missing out on, whether it goes up crazy or whether it goes down crazy, because most of us, we ain't going to agree on the same direction, right? But it's okay, because look at this, right? GameStop actually got halted in the middle of the day, right? You see this huge gap, right? It's actually took a look at the 1 minute, so you can see it a little bit more in detail. But this gap up, right, it stopped here. Like, I don't know, I think it was 5, maybe 10, 15 minutes. No trading was happening. And then it opened up here, and it got halted again. And then I guess it got halted again. And I think it was a total of 5 times that it was so much volume, so much pressure, and transactions being, what do you call it, being, just happening, that they stopped GameStop from being played, either buying or selling. So it's just an interesting thing that happened. And if we zoom out, we could go back to the 15-minute chart and see what the action looked like all day. And we pretty much held this moving average. Now there's 3 of them. We got the 50 EMA, which is the overall. This is, we just bullish in the long term for this time frame. And the blue is the short term, right? This is more immediate. It tells us we're moving right now. And you see how it's holding that support, right? And the yellow, what is this? Purple says this is the VWAP, which is used when it's a high volume environment, right? When it's a low volume environment, the VWAP doesn't work very well, right? But when the price is trending and we're moving, I'm looking for price to hold VWAP to give me a bullish signal that we're ready to keep on moving on up, right? And then I could switch on over to my 9 EMA, which is more immediate momentum, and that gives me a reading and indication on if price is gonna continue moving. So I don't really, right, have to guess because my indications are telling me what's going on. Right? No one knows what's gonna happen and what's going to happen, but I could see what is happening in relation to what my indicators are telling me, and that gives me enough confidence to allow me to either stay in a trade or get out the trade, and that's straight to it, right? That's all there is to it. You could either be in or out, and the goal is to not overthink it, right? So I called Gamestop maybe around in this area. I didn't call the trade. I called it out in a watch list, telling people wait for it to hold VWAP. And the funny thing is you don't know what time frame, right? Because when people say a certain EMA, it might be a EMA that works on a 15-minute or it works on a 4 hour. But with the VWAP, it actually stays the same, right? It's only the candles that's going to change, right? The candle close. So you can see that at this point it held the support, and this would have been a great area to look to get into some calls. And you could see that confirmation on the 15-minute chart if you use the more immediate moving averages like the 9 EMA. All right, so we're gonna talk about GameStop as well coming up, but before we do, we just take a look at some levels for GameStop tomorrow. Maybe it goes up, maybe it goes back into the range that it traded yesterday, but we could see it could push up to this 45 mark up there. It could push up to this 47, 40, yeah, about 47 and some change. But we could move out to the weekly to get a better view as well, more clean. And I feel like this level needs to be held as support, 34. Maybe it held during the day, maybe it didn't. But we got 49, and then we got about 63, and then we got about 86, and then we got 120 all the way up here. All right, so we all the way down here. It's a long road, it's a long trip, but at the same time, to get from 23, about 24, all the way up to 120 took 1 week, right? Back in 2021. So yeah, I wouldn't sleep on it. And this happened after a gap, right? Look at what just happened, a gap. And this is the weekly chart. Today's Monday, going into Tuesday, and yeah, just keep your eyes on these EMAs. Keep your eyes on the support. Keep your eyes on the high and lows. Keep your eyes on the volume. All of it matters. It just comes down to how well can you read it. And next up, we got AMC, right? Everything's a movie right now. Everything is a movie. And this one, whoa, that's crazy. 726. Now, the thing is that AMC had a stock split, right? AMC, let's put the daily chart. AMC, okay, lows of $2.38, and now it's at $5.19. Let's take a look at the intraday action. Now, all along, it's been chilling, chopping, $3 and some change. And then all of a sudden, today, this morning, we wake up around $3 and some change, and we are just pushing on up to $4. And then $4 and some change, $5, and then $6. And then after hours, we're just pushing, right? So I don't know what the options on this was, but it's pretty. I know this went crazy because the actual share price doubled. So if that doubled, then the option must have went crazy. So taking a look at what levels we got tomorrow, we definitely gotta look out to see this level of $5.09 to hold as support, and $6.49 could be the next $7.20, $7.58. And if we see something even crazier, we could head up to 8 and 9, gap fill all the way up at 10, right? And 11.39 is up there, and 14, about 14 area. So if we do, that would be great. What's the best thing to do in a situation? Look for expiration maybe further than this week, and maybe further out if you can afford the in the money strikes. Just do what you could afford. Wait for a pullback. Wait for the volume to drop. Right? You definitely want to wait for the volume to drop. I'll give you that, because imagine entering the option when all this volume is here, and then the next few days the volume drops to like this, right? But the price goes up, and you're like, what happened? Why is my option in the red, but the price went into my direction? And one big reason is because the amount of volume that that is present when you entered the market, and the volume that is currently in the market is no longer that as high as it was when you entered, which affects the premium, right? Options decay based on different factors, and the volume, IV, which is implied volatility, is one of those, right? So take a look at the volume to make sure you're not entering and holding, right? You could enter, right, in high volume, but you got to exit, I would say quickly. You can't, it's dangerous when you're entering in a high volume, especially with options this week, so you could do it, but AMC GME is different. This is like a 5-star. This is a crazy like situation, right? The momentum, the possibilities, the risk reward. So this is different entering in high volume, but if you're doing this on a regular basis, it could really hurt. And yeah, that's just one of those things that people kind of have an issue with options. So next up, we got Beyond Meat. Pulse, right? This is the brand of plant-based products, right? They make all kind of products. They got, man, I can't even say any of these products, man. They got sausages, man. They got what do you got? Burgers, but they all plant-based, right? And if you guys don't know, I've been plant-based for like 3 years, right? I don't eat the Beyond Meat products, right? But I try not to, right? It was one time I went out and I didn't realize, the sausages was Beyond Meat, but it was good. I'm not gonna lie. But I try not to eat it, and I see it everywhere. Everywhere I go, all the restaurants is just Beyond Meat, Beyond Meat. People loving it. So if you take a look, let me take this crazy drawing off. And before, in 2019, we went up to $239. Look at where we are now, guys, at $7. So if you don't see, if you don't understand charts, maybe you can understand price, right? Price is pretty low compared to where we was, and we've been making higher lows, right, and higher highs, and we're pretty much approaching above this EMA, which is the 50. The reason why this is important is because this is the overall bullish indicator, right? If we get over this, then we could start having a lot more confidence that price could stay bullish, right? We want price to stay bullish, not just flip flop around and kind of go down, right? So we're gonna keep this on watch. And what happened with this one today is we pushed up from about $7 and some change, up into the $8 and some change. Now, it doesn't look like that much, but if you check the option contracts, they're moving like 100% in some of these moves. So keep this on watch, and if it's moving that much with this small movement, we got a lot of room. Even just back in February, we pushed up to $15, and we're sitting here. Look at this momentum that's creeping up, right? This is very small, low momentum back in March, April, and now in May, we're starting to pick up, right? This is a low, higher low. We got a high, high, and we're due for a higher high, which would bring us above 860, right? And if we do push up, we have this next pit stop here at about 897. We have this area here about 990, $11, and then we got 1170, 1260, and then we got about 1440, and then 15. So if you're playing just the shares, this is a chance to double your money if you get up here, right? But imagine the options. Options on this is pretty inexpensive as well. So it's a good look. It's a good look. Keep it on watch. Week wise, yeah, this is still under this 50 EMA. Yeah, so everything is set, and the SPY, we'll take a look at this as the last one. Where are we? Let's take a look. Now we have these previous highs at 478. We never retested these, right? So that's just something to keep on the eyes, right? You see how these highs was retested? We went all the way up, and we eventually came down to retest it. This high was never retested, and this high was never retested. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing us traveling up. We pushed down pretty hard. We held these lows, right? This demand area, and we pushed on up near the highs, and we have good momentum, right? And it's in a spot where we should expect the market to come back down because of how much we pushed up, because of this move down that we previously had, and it just seems like this will be a double top and we'll pull down. But at the same time, we're seeing a lot of bullish momentum happening, not just at the bottom leading up to the top, but at the top itself. And that's important because usually when the market is ready to reverse, you start seeing the bullish momentum die down, or some confusion, more than normal. And I feel like in this type of market, yeah, the confusion has been there, but recently there's been a lot of stocks that's starting to push up, and not only push up, but just hold key levels that if the market was to reverse, that those key levels, I believe, wouldn't hold up as well, right? So if we dive in to the deeper time frames and take a look at what we got here. So I have this demand zone. It was drawn here. So that extends all the way to about 513. So yeah, I honestly, I am 50-50, right, about overall direction, right? Because it could hold supports and then the next day just crash through them, especially when we're trading inside a range like this, right? The range here is 524.61, and we could say here 493.60 something, right? Let's try to get these levels on point. And as long as price is inside of a range, it could do some wacky stuff, right? But once it's outside the range, then you see some nice clean movement, right? So you got to keep that on a on watch, and this level here is the previous resistance, which you can see here is holding up as a support. Why? Because the candle is unable to close under it, giving this level some significance of strength, which gives some confidence to be able to trade off that level if we're seeing that price action hold up. So if we take a look at that same level, um, we did trade under it, and then during the day, but we are creating higher lows, higher highs, and we just want to see the previous resistances like here, like here, like here, especially this 521 area. If this could hold as support, then I could expect a higher high up to about 522. All right, so this is a nice game plan for the upside, and for the downside, if it breaks, let's take a look. We have different supports. We have one here, we have one here, right? So it's like, okay, which one do you use, right? And then we have one here. So the one that I would use is the one here at 519.58, and I would expect price to come down here to 518.93. So this would be short opportunities to take some scalps, and I'm not really comfortable that much holding the SPY until it breaks the ranges that it has been traded in the previous day at minimum. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, we got the Discord where you could type all your questions and follow our plays every day. The link is in the bio, and we have workshops available. And let me know if you guys need any help with your trading, just a strategy, risk management, psychology, because we got a lot of goods on the way, a whole course that is set up for you guys to be able to learn at your pace. And yeah, so follow me on Instagram, like, comment if you like this video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.